Just remember to state your names.
This is our idea for hip hop fix by Kelvin,
Jodie,
Pelham, and Nathan, who unfortunately couldn't be here because he's ill.
well, I'm sick today.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Why we chose hip hop? We chose this theme because we felt that it had something we can relate to as part of our generation in the 21st century. From what we already know about hip hop, we can make it benefit teenagers, families, and older people who do not know much about hip hop. We want to include everyone.
We thought we could promote the hip hop weekend in July by producing adverts which are targeted to young children, teenagers, and the elderly. We could make an advert or film that could be like show on Facebook and YouTube and stuff. We could make posters that could be spreaded around shopping centres and public places, and hand out leaflets, which we thought we could do in our own time or cycle weekends.
We're trying to target people from all ages, from young children to the elderly. We decided that it would be a good idea to target people of all ages because hip hop is usually aimed around teenagers. So we want to try to give more knowledge of hip hop to everyone.
We were scared of to have like a giant whiteboard, so like the size of the paper here, and people could come to South Bank and just write anything on it, like graffiti or express their mind, and it would just be displayed in our South Bank areas.
We want to do some performances and get some professional hip hop dancers to come in, possibly diversity, because a few years ago they weren't well known and then they got quite far and went to Got Talent, now they've blown up and they're doing live shows, and we wondered if they could come back and do something for us. And anybody who wants to show what they can do can come to the South Bank and perform anywhere around it and just do what they like.
Our filming ideas, we're going to make and advertise the hip hop weekend on the 22nd to 24th of July by filming people of all ages dancing to hip hop music. We're thinking we could film at senior centres, nursery, primary schools, secondary schools, and clubs and offices.
Thank you for taking your time to listen to our pitch. Hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you. Like a smiley face. I really like the idea of going into senior centres, offices, nurseries.
Really good.
Yeah, and getting and the idea of it being hip hop for all, and seeing that, I could really visualise that in its diversity.
Really great idea. Yeah.
I like the way you thought cross art form about diversity. It was a dance group, thought about graffiti and other workshops, so that was nice.
Yeah, it was a kind of all-round cultural experience, which I think was very South Bank actually, as well as, you know, just really appealing. Very good.
And so would it be the kind of the hip hop event, and then you would film that, and then you would use that to kind of draw in other groups, so you would take that to different centres and things like that to the rest of the festival as well? Yeah?
You guys say something.
So I guess it would kind of be, there would be the big event that you would film, and you would kind of put on workshops kind of taking them out to different centres, but would you also film that and use it to to advertise the festival to lots of different groups of people, so that it became a bigger thing really, and started to let people know about it.
We could like make an advert to actual, because on the 22nd to 24th is the actual weekend. We could do something before that, like a little mini workshop or something, to get people like a tasting session of it, like film that and make adverts and stuff to get people along to the actual main event, so there's more people.
I just want to say that you had your ideas were good, and the way that you explained why you were doing them, I thought was a good thing to do.
Should we take some suggestions and questions?
I don't think you mentioned costs, did you? Had you thought about budget for it?
The cost would probably be more like, we'd only need to pay for, if any, like the diversity or someone comes, they might want to have to pay for them. And if we could have a film ourselves or get a professional to film it, we would need someone to edit it afterwards and stuff. That's really.
So if you're going to, if those were the things you were going to have use the funding for, who would you get to do the workshops?
We could either do it ourselves or get someone in to teach people or.
So would that be like someone from the South Bank, or would it be someone from outside that you might have to pay?
You said that you would get someone to edit the film. Is there any reason why you couldn't edit the film?
We're probably a bit rubbish.
I mean, you're creating something, so there's no reason really why you can't edit the film yourselves, right?
Someone to help us.
Yeah, exactly. So you need some training on the editing, yeah?
Can I ask, what would be the difference between your graffiti wall and sort of, where the skateboarders do graffiti? Why would we want your graffiti wall than that one down there?
It would kind of be the same, but in a different area, like it would be down in Jubilee Gardens or somewhere other than there. So it's the same thing, but in a different space to make it a bit more. It's like, when you've done the elephant thing and you have people write on it, similar to that. Or you can have a statue instead of a whiteboard or something.
Okay, cool.
I have one more. I really like the idea of involving elders, and we have. I think you're talking. There's that senior centre down the street from Dunraven, and you said there's another one around the corner, right? And it would be quite interesting. And we have a relationship. Dunraven already has a relationship with them. It'd be quite interesting to kind of go and hear what their impressions are of, what do they think about hip hop. And ask them a little, and maybe introduce them to the music a little bit and educate them about it, and sort of this idea that you have of including everybody. It's kind of the reverse of what the other two groups are doing. Young people already like hip hop, so now you're trying to get the other people that have a stereotype maybe against it sometimes, to get them to the South Bank.
I am a bit worried though that if I read one of the slides correctly, you're an elder if you're over 45.
I don't think that.
I'm not telling you how old I am, but I'm not willing to be an elder yet. It's just the way it was written, I think. But I agree, it's a great sort of flip. Really nice.
Audience,
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Pelham has a question.
Can I just add about the graffiti wall placement? I think it would be better if we put it in another place, because I don't really see anyone just walking over into the skater bit and just writing stuff on the walls, because sometimes it can be a bit intimidating from writing around. Yeah.
It's kind of dark.
Absolutely fair point, yeah.
And if you're really rubbish, you would be scared of their culture. So it's for amateurs, really. I think that's what anyone, because when we go to the skate place, you kind of want to try, but if you don't know, you just don't know.
You don't want to seem
bad. Seem rubbish.
Because you see people doing really good artwork and stuff, and you don't want to go up and try and draw something and
Yeah.
sort of annoy
Attack
people
you.
by covering something up that was better.
Do you think lots of people? I'm just interested. Do you think lots of people feel like that about
Yeah.
it?
Probably.
Because
Interesting.
there's also I'm a graffiti specialist now, the Leek Street
Yeah.
Tunnel as well, which is supposed to be a place where you can
Yeah.
experiment as well. But
I do
again,
think-
it's not. I agree with you. It's an intimidating space, like the tunnel. You
I
know.
think the tunnel's funny.
Exactly. So no, I like
We
it as an
actually
idea.
did some research recently, or Tamsin did, about if we could do a project in the Leek Street Tunnel. Do you know where that is?
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's a tunnel nearby that's legal place to graffiti, and there's a lot of artists graffitiing there all the time. And Lambert said that we could, if we wanted to, kind of paint it all over and do a big project like Banksy did, but that we'd have to pay for them to clear a lot of graffiti in other places in Lambeth afterwards, because it encourages
It's
graffiti,
going
and
on,
then
so.
suddenly there's graffiti everywhere.
Interesting.
Ezekiel.
You see how you said how the graffiti down there is really intimidating. Don't you think after a while your project will become intimidating to other people?
It won't be there permanently, just for like the hip hop events.
I just had a thought about this graffiti wall thing, and I think maybe if you had like a guiding question or something that people were graffitiing about rather than just sort of random graffiti, might be interesting. And there's a possibility then of people doing something in different places and then you producing it on a wall somewhere. So kind of like what people do is a sketch and then you come together and you paint it or put something. Does that make sense? Kind of this idea of like graffiti that people have done and you have a plan of it based on like a paper plan, and then you produce a graffiti wall down here that's more permanent. Anyway, just a bit of a brainstorm.
How many graffiti walls would you be like planning to do? Because if a lot of people don't want to do it in the skating area, then if you let them have another place that isn't as intimidating, there's going to be a lot of people trying to do it at once. So how many sort of graffiti walls would you like be planning to put up so that everyone got their fair chance of doing it?
There's a lot of questions around the graffiti wall, but you guys can sort of think through this a bit more.
It would depend where people would want to put them. Like, it's not really good on the side here, but you could have a big one in place and just put them scattered around so when people are passing, they just graffiti.
And if would people have to bring their own stuff to graffiti on, or would there be someone there with like a spray can that they can use to?
There'll be stuff there that you bring your own.
Okay, but will there? Wait, so there's stuff there.
It could be.
I think those little things could be ironed out later, but it's good to think about them, logistics. So did you have a question, Hannah? I thought it was
I was just thinking about prioritisation, because you've got lots of ideas in your project ideas, and I think in relation to the timescale that we've got, just about maybe if we were to go ahead with yours, about thinking about what you might want to focus on, or how much each element, if you wanted to try and achieve everything, how much time you wanted to designate for each part of the project. Because some things might only need, a couple of days time to set up and plan. Other things might take a period of time. So I think it's for everyone. We're going to get to that stage about thinking about timescale and what's possible.
Any last questions, comments, concerns, considerations? Okay. Thanks very much.
Can I just ask a general question?
Yeah, of course.
The idea is that one idea goes ahead. Does